Can Judaism be boiled down to a single bumper sticker? One fundamental, simple message in the Torah that kind of gives the philosophy, the whole point of why the Torah was given, and then everything goes out from there. We're going to explore that today by looking in the second of our double parsha this week. We're reading Acharei Mot, which deals with the aftermath of the death of Aharon's sons, Nadav and Avihu, but the second parsha, which is very close to the very center of the entire Chumash, Kedoshim, which often translates as holiness, but we'll look at some other meanings of it later. It's actually my sister's favorite parasha, and hopefully that'll come out as we explore it. So one suggestion is this beautiful line that's not only clear near the center of the Torah, but near the center of our parasha, where Hashem is speaking to the people and says, Kedoshim tihiyu, you should be kadosh, which again can translate as holy. You should be holy, ki kadosh ani, because I am kadosh. So at the end of the day, Hashem could have said that the entire Torah is be holy like me because I am holy. And then that would be the bumper sticker, and all we would say is, now can we talk about how do we practically do that? And the rest is the Torah. So if that's what the Parsha of Kedoshim and the Torah are all about, are there then some general principles about how we try and emulate Hashem's holiness? And perhaps even in this Parsha there is. It actually goes through a number of important mitzvot, including those in the Ten Commandments, the Aseret HaDibrot, but there's one specific mitzvah that I want to focus on, and it comes out beautifully in this famous story of Shammai and Hillel, including one part of the story that a lot of people get wrong. So it's in the Gemara in Shabbat, page 31a. And it says, Shuv ma'aseh begoy echad sheba lifnei Shammai. There was a story of this non-Jew who had been coming to Shammai and Hillel over and over again, potentially the same guy, potentially not, but he came again and he stood before Shammai, who was brilliant, without question, but very, very strict, and perhaps had a bit of an anger management problem. Amarlo, so he said to Shammai, Gaireini almanat shetelamdeni kol haTorah kula ksheani omed al regel achat. I want you to convert me on the condition that you can teach me the entire Torah, kol Torah kula, kshe'ani, and this is the part that people get wrong. He's not saying that Shammai should stand on one foot. The non-Jew is saying, I'm going to stand on one foot, and before I collapse on the ground, you have to teach me the whole Torah. Shammai's response, very typical of him, is dechafo be'amah habinyan she'beyado. So he has some sort of measuring stick in his hand. Now, whether it's related to his craft, or he was using it for something he was learning about measuring the Beit HaMikdash, or he just used it as a switch to hit students that were annoying him over the head, which would be typical Shammai. He held it in his hand and he pushed this person away. Whether he smacked him or just pushed him, he said, don't bother me with this nonsense. I don't want you to waste my time. So the person said, can you tell me Judaism in a bumper sticker? And Shammai said, thwack, get out of here. However, the non-Jew continued, Balifnei Hillel, and he came before Hillel, who was brilliant, but very much a man of the people and had more of this flexibility and understanding of folkways, as it were. So Balifnei Hillel, Gairei. So he came before Hillel, and Hillel converted him. We missed the dialogue in there. Hillel just, opened or perhaps at least began the process of converting him, if not actually converting him on the spot. Amarlo, and the person said to him, Da'alecha sne lechavercha lo ta'aved. Sorry, Hillel said to this person, teaching him the fundamental principle of Torah, what is hateful to you, don't do to another person. Zohi kol haTorah kula. This is the whole Torah. This is the bumper sticker that we should all have on the back of our cars. Ve'idach perusha hu, zil gamor. And the rest of the Torah, as I said, are the details, the commentary. Now he says to this young man, go learn the rest of them. So if the essence of the Torah is love your neighbor as yourself, how does that connect with the whole system and project of the Torah? And where does he get this from? He gets it right out of this week's Parsha, Kedoshim, from a mitzvah that actually talks about three different things. It's in the book of Vayikra, chapter 19, Pasuk Yudchet 18. Lo tikom velo titor, do not take vengeance against people and do not bear a grudge. So bearing a grudge against someone is actually forbidden by the Torah. So keep that in mind the next time, or if you still have a grudge. Et bnei amecha, the people, the brothers of your nation, your fellow Jews and Israelites. And then it continues, ve'ahavta le'ra'echa kamocha, and love your neighbor as yourself. Ani Hashem. And we could talk at another time about why he would end this with Ani Hashem, I'm God, and we don't do it with other mitzvot, but it's clearly a very unique and powerful mitzvah, which perhaps people wouldn't figure out otherwise. And the rabbis talk about, how can I feel love for others? So they say practically it means how we treat others. But again, we're talking here about our actions and how we treat others, and not commit to acts of vengeance against them, and not ask them to teach us the whole Torah while we're standing on one foot and treat the Torah like a joke. So again, how does this law of love connect to the idea of being holy? And we look at a 19th century Lithuanian commentary known as the work is known as the Meshech Chochmah, continuation of wisdom. And there he says on that verse, Ve'ahavta l're'echa kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, ani Hashem. Ha'inyan, the issue here, the main matter that we're discussing, the Amruba Midrash Tamura, which is discussed or talked about in this Midrash Tamura. Keshem shehabeged me'id al ha'oreg. What he says is that the clothing is a testimony for the person who put it together. So if my shirt is beautifully woven, it says something very positive about the person who wove it and made it. So people buy expensive clothes, although they usually do it just for the brand name. It continues, Vehabinyan al habanai, and the building is a testament to the person who built it. That's why, architects really want to take pride in their work. And if a building is built very, very poorly, it shows poorly on the builder. And then he concludes, Ken ha'olam me'id al Hashem yitbarach, is the entire world testifies or is a reflection of God. So what does that mean for us in terms of being holy? So the word kadosh, as I keep using the word holy, really means separate and unique for a specific purpose. So Kohanim, priests, they become kadosh by serving their purpose in the Beit HaMikdash. I don't want to limit Hashem, chas v'shalom, God forbid, but perhaps one could say that Hashem's kedusha, Hashem's holiness, comes in that Hashem's action. I'm not defining Hashem, but the way Hashem acts in the universe is to be a creative, constructive, loving, and merciful force. And if we are supposed to be kadosh like Hashem, and our actions reflect on Hashem, then when we are being hateful and vengeful and bearing grudges, and that, particularly as Jews who are supposed to be a light for the other nations, when that reflects on God, it makes people think, oh, God must be disgraceful and disgusting and hateful. Yet when we focus on the good that God does, on the compassion, on being creative, on being positive in this world, then that testifies to God's goodness. So the whole Torah is telling us how to essentially reflect well on Hashem, because Hashem has said throughout the Torah that one of our roles is to bring down knowledge of God to the rest of the world. And if the knowledge we bring is that Hashem has chosen a people that are evil and hateful and gossipy, then that just shows God as being evil, hateful, and gossipy. But if our actions are loving and good, and we treat people respectfully the way we would want to be treated, then that reflects on Hashem, and people say, wow, God must be wonderful. He chose a people that are so kind, helping old ladies cross the street, only using kind words, giving so much charity. So if we're going to boil the whole Torah down to a bumper sticker, Kedoshim tihu, you should be holy like I am, the continuation is because your actions reflect on me. So if you don't represent, God says, the best of me, then people are going to think ill of me. And then the whole Torah says, how do we live lives that reflect well on God? And the truth is, even if it's not just about us reflecting well on Hashem, there's a fundamental good in all of those actions that reflect well on God. Being compassionate, kind, and charitable are good actions in and of themselves. But ultimately, Hashem is telling us that this Torah is telling us how do we reflect well on ourselves, on our nation, and on God. Kedoshim tihiyu, with love, with kindness, with mercy and compassion. Shabbat Shalom.